Greetings, and welcome to another video. And today we got another episode of Why Karate Doesn't Work, the series where I, a karate guy, look at the commonly held misconceptions and and marks of confusion that the average person has that leads them to the conclusion that karate doesn't work. In our previous episodes, we've talked about punching as a whole in karate, which might get an update, kicking, and in our last one, we covered hand positions. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about the elbows. Now, elbows are a hot topic in martial arts and combat sports specifically as a whole because it's generally seen as a contention point of they change things, and for good reason. Muay Thai is famous for them, but that also has led to but because of the popularity of Muay Thai and how well known they are for their elbows, it generally has been given a thing of if you see someone throwing elbows, that's Muay Thai. But karate, we have elbows, and we do them differently. And this is actually something that got asked about me in the previous video that I held on this channel, where I was going in with that trend for Technoblade 25, where it was, would have been Technoblade's 25th birthday. So I did a thing of elbow training, where a person asked me about my form with it because they thought I was doing it wrong, because their experience with elbows is seemingly strictly from a Muay Thai sense. So, on that note, before I go into why people think we do elbows wrong, let's look at the karate elbows as a whole. Now, for the most part, in karate, we have 5 different elbows. For starters, we have this raising one here. Sometimes you see people strike, do it into the hand like this. Let me put my hat backwards, so I'm not hitting it. Oftentimes you'll see people throwing it into the hand. I'll explain on that later. Second, we have a downward elbow like this. Often called the 12 to 6 elbow. Based on the numbers on a clock, 12 being up, 6 being down, 12 to 6. This is one of this is a big deal, especially because for the most part, at least in the UFC specifically, 12 to 6 elbows were banned because there were one of the main reason that was given was that people in charge saw demonstrations where people were breaking blocks of ice and stone with a 12 to 6 elbow. And that's true, you do see those. Personally, I've never tried it. I might eventually, but we got the downward elbow. Then we got the side elbow, but generally you see it reinforced with the backhand like this. Generally to an opponent coming in. In front of you, like if you're in a side stance, or if the person's trying to circle to your outside side, like Mike Tyson's style, if they come in, you can send it in like that. That before, to immediately address it before, shifting your stance to deal with it. It's also a good counter to forward momentum. Then after that, we have the reverse elbow. And if this motion looks familiar, it's the same motion, general motion, as when we retract our punches. Because one of the commonly held beliefs of the hikite, pulling hand, is that it's training for a reverse elbow as well. This is generally used as if you have a person behind you trying to behind you. Maybe they did a back take, maybe they're getting a standing choke. You strike them like this. Maybe just to create enough distance or to loosen their grip to get an escape. Maybe it actually does enough damage to repel them. Or maybe you just start spamming it like this. Generally speaking, that's what it's used for. And then finally, we have what's probably the most well-known elbow, oftentimes called the round elbow, or the straight elbow, which I've never actually been a fan of because this would be more the straight elbow. But not every style teaches that one, so leave me at these five. Now, let's look into the characteristics that people say we're doing wrong. The first one being, how we throw them into our hand. Or as some people say, how you smack your elbow when you're doing it. Now, why do we do that? Well, the main principle is, we're grabbing the person to pull in, person when we're elbowing, either to keep them in place or to pull them into our elbow. Such as one that you'll see in what's actually my favorite kata, and Yodan, my style. You take a forward step, simultaneous side kick in hammer fist or back fist, depending on the style, and then turn it into one of these. The general interpretation I've seen of this is simultaneous block with the upper hand while stopping it to knee level to grab the head and pull it into that elbow. So this is meant to be a grab. It also can be a pretty useful training tool. Tool for early people, both to make sure they're getting the impact proper with their elbow, to make sure they're properly turning, make sure they're hitting the right, hitting at the right spot and angle, and just generally, I do think it looks cool. And on top of that, you don't actually always do that in training, because when you're drilling, you will occasionally just throw an elbow without moving the back hand, and oftentimes it sets up into other techniques off the same arm. So say I hit the elbow, and I can then retract and throw another punch off that hand before going with the back hand, because getting struck with twice off the same hand isn't all that common. People are used to you throwing one hand, then the other, and then back to the first one. You switch hands every time, so when you hit multiple times off one side, it throws people off, and you usually, at the very least, hit one of the two. Jabs are a little different because people will throw those consecutively. So the thing with the hand, it's mostly just a training principle that does eventually, stop being used, in other training things. Of course, it does stay the same in the katas because, like I mentioned, in the katas it's generally a grab. Like I mentioned, with the Heian Yodan one, this is meant to be a simultaneous block and low kick, where you grab the back of their head and pull into the elbow. Which you do see to some extent in Muay Thai, where you got all the close-up clinching. You will see people pulling into the strikes, at least sometimes, not all the time. There's no hard set this always happens, except for, say, in a boxing match, people will always get punched. So, now the other thing people say, that karate guys do wrong with our thing, is, here, notice how I throw the elbow. When we do this, we're not doing the standard Muay Thai, with it, where we are just connecting with the tip of our elbow and we're trying to cut. In karate, it's this, about this inch that we consider the contact point. We're not so much trying to cut as we are trying to smash. My sensei always referred to the elbows, and the knees for that matter, as turtle shells, because they're a hard point, point that we're using both to defend, because he has always been very big on blocking with the elbows, but also to hit hard when we need to. The point of these, for us, isn't cutting. It's just a harder thing to hit with. And of course, yeah, they're really good at close range when you don't have this space to pull to get the full chamber for a punch and the distance required to get max power. So, yeah, what most people say is wrong here is you're supposed to connect with just the tip of your elbow because you're supposed to cut. And to that I respond, okay, and it's, it's not a wrong thing, it's just a different thing. That's like all the people saying that the the Hitman style that Tommy Hurts had is wrong because the flicker jab yeah goes against all of the principles of the standard jab because you're leading with the elbow rather than just straightening the arm out. It's not wrong. It's just a different way of doing things. Am I saying it's better? Of course not. Am I saying it's worse? No. It's just a different thing. They have different they have different purposes. Like I said, Muay Thai cuts, karate smashes. And that's also likely the main reason why we do the pull into the strike anyway. Yeah, at close quarters we're going to be grappling so that we can use the elbows in the first place because at close range it's gonna get grappling base, and elbows are more practical at close range than straight punches. Will be, and to an extent even hooks. Uppercuts are about the same, but when you want to hit the vital spots of the body, when you're up close, elbows, especially at head level, are the way to go. So, yeah, where was I? Right, yeah. So, yeah, that as far as that criticism goes, I can't really see much merit in it. Yeah, it, no technique's inherently wrong just because there's a difference. They're both going to do damage. You can definitely make the argument that a cutting attack is better than a smashing attack. But you'll also have people making the argument that a smashing attack is better than a cutting attack. Just look at all the arguments in HEMA circles of yeah is a of is a mace better than a sword? But generally, yes, speaking, both are valid. Heck, I even say, if you want to learn both, go for it. I mean, like I said, there's the one elbow, the straight one. That it, okay, that was bad. That isn't actually taught in every karate style, so I just didn't include it in the five ones that I mentioned. So it's perfectly fine to add in more elbows. All right. Yes. Now, next thing, that that people say that does won't work with karate's elbows is one second. Okay, sorry, I need to take a drink of water. Now, the next and probably the last one I'll go over. Reason why people say that the elbows of karate don't work is that we only will use the elbows against air and won't actually do impact training or use them in sparring. And to that, I would actually like to refer to the video on this channel of me practicing my elbows against a Makiwara. This is a criticism that people will say regardless of the karate technique of we just practice on air. Really, that's not true in the slightest. We practice them on heavy bags. I've shown that some of us practice them against the Makiwara. Now, as far as sparring goes, you will run into schools that will tell you not to use elbows, and some people will even say no knees during sparring for safety concerns. And of course, you'll never see it in point karate sparring because one, they're illegal techniques, so you won't get a point for them, and two, you just won't see it because they fight at long range. Yeah, think about it. If I'm all the way over here, why would I even bother trying to throw an elbow? I mean, unless I was like jumping into a 12 to 6. Yeah, 6. I might be able to do that from this distance. But at this distance, I'm more likely to just throw throw kicks while trying to close the distance to throw straight punches, which are genuinely. Actually, I threw straight off the lead arm. I don't. That's actually not legal in point karate to throw straight punches. You'll never see it in those contexts. So sparring in a point system will genuinely not have elbows. And heck, my school, at the early levels, says don't use elbows or knees for safety reasons because, generally speaking, white belts and even yellow belts, to some extent, will have trouble pulling their techniques, in sparring. So generally we just say hold off on using those techniques in sparring until we know that you can actually not hit someone in the head with them. Especially because no one in our school really wears headgear because on one hand it's been proven that it doesn't actually prevent brain damage, and on the other hand, most of us don't actually like it because all it really does is kind of restrict your vision to what's directly in front of you. And in our school, we generally will do battle royale sparring, or sparring against multiple people at the same time. So it isn't as much an option as the others. Of course, I'm going to start wearing headgear in sparring, mostly because I want to give the other people the sense of the sense of safety in throwing stuff at my head because no one will throw stuff at head level. I get for worry of accidentally hurting someone. So so that's why I'm going to start doing that. But and of course, in full contact schools, you might not you probably won't see them thrown at head level because oftentimes a full contact school just will operate under the Kyokushin rule set, and they ban punches and elbows to the head. Basically, any arm strike cannot hit the head. Anything else to the head is fair game. So, but as far as I know, you don't usually see elbows to the body in Kyokushin. But it's not off the table. So, and of course, there will probably be some schools that'll do sparring, where elbows have no restrictions. So, we do the impact training already, and as for the sparring, use of elbows in sparring, it's up in the air. You can. Some places do, some places don't. So that so that one halfway to having some ground, but for the most part, it just comes down to it comes down to where you are. So that has been why karate doesn't work. Elbows edition. Did I miss any reasons why? Any common criticisms of the elbows in karate? If so, let me know in the comments. And if you guys have any video you would like to see me do on in this series, again, let me know in the comments. Just don't say kata yet. I'm saving that for a special episode. So, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. And maybe you should even see about sharing this video with a person, who you think may enjoy it, or a person you don't like who you think won't enjoy it. That's always an option too. And if you want to be notified of future videos, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Thank you all very much for watching. This is Randoman, signing off.